Hello, everyone, and welcome to EllynwithaY Goes Live. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I'm so excited. For the 58th episode, we are going to have Hearne joining me. He is the guest this week. He is a special education teacher in kindergarten for New York City. So I'm really excited to talk to someone, one, just a friend, and I'm so excited to talk to him, two, giving teachers a platform and checking in with them during Corona and COVID. Thank you all so much for tuning in week over week. You're all so sweet. As I do every week, I like to start the episode with taking a breath. So collectively, let's all just take a breath. And something to think about that kind of like caught my eye is someone who was on my show, I think 2 weeks ago, Emilee. She posted on Instagram this quote. So I want to share and spread positivity because that's what we're doing here. So she said, think about all the things that had to go right so you could meet some of your favorite people. I think about that a lot. A really good example of this is my best friend from high school, Sam, who's watching. She lived more than 2 blocks, but it felt like 2 blocks away from me in like near the pharmacy that I went to as a child. And we never met each other. We went to different schools until we went to high school. So then Sam moved to a town that my parents were looking to move to, like houses. So if my parents had moved houses, I would have gone to a different school district. And it would have been the town that Sam was from, but because Sam wound up going to our county high school, which is where I went to school, we literally would have been ships in the night. We would never have actually gotten to meet each other. And that, I think, is so like crazy because we really would never have met. And so think of all the amazing things that had to go right, or in my parents' case, the house falling through, go wrong, for me to be able to meet one of my best friends. So, in all the craziness going on, maybe do a mental check of all the relationships in your life and what may or may not have been like just divine intervention, total fate. Yes, it was fate, Sam. I love it. So diving right into the hot topics where, I'm being very intentional to spread positivity and joy. So hot topics, as you guys know, I've talked about this. I have reported on this. I am obviously a political pundit now. I talk about very hard-hitting political news all the time on this show. And I just saw on my Alexa that, did all of your Alexas go off? I just saw on my Alexa that Bernie endorsed Joe Biden. So that's a thing. So this is a breaking news. I am sharing news. It's important for everyone to know. Moving into more hot topics and great news. So 2 really awesome things you should tune into are, first of all, the Bruce Springsteen concert for Jersey. So it's like Jersey celebrities and musicians and artists putting on a concert to help New Jersey COVID relief fund. So Bruce Springsteen, Charlie Puth, Chelsea Handler, Bon Jovi. I mean, literally everyone that's anyone. I mean, they didn't ask me yet, but I feel like, the call could come any moment. So that's April 22nd. So definitely tune in on ABC. I can't wait. I think it's awesome. I think we all don't really want to see celebrities bored at home. We'd rather see them galvanize and do something that's useful. So this is awesome. So great. Actually entertain us because we could use it, but not Tuesdays at 10. And then there's also something that I just cannot believe. So ABC is also doing a Disney sing-along night on Thursday this week. The cast of High School Musical is reuniting to sing the song of the century and also the phrase that people just cannot stop saying on television. We're all in this together. Wait, I think it's together. Okay. I'll stop because that's embarrassing. But I am so excited. I feel like Vanessa Hudgens had a little bit of a misstep at the beginning of COVID. This is a great way for her to make a comeback. Also, Zac Efron has refused to associate with High School Musical. So I'm so excited that he is going to get involved. It only took a pandemic, but where's Corbin Bleu? What happened to his hair? Where's the girl who can pop, lock, and dance or jive or whatever she said? I can't wait. So I'm really excited for that. I hope you guys are too. And then finally, just a reminder, because I like to support other people doing positive things. John Krasinski came out with another episode of some Good News Network. And he partnered, of course, he partnered with the Boston Red Sox and did something awesome. I think that's great. It's hard to report from New York and New Jersey about the Boston Red Sox, but I support my New England sports and teams. And I mean, I went to school in New England. I could be down for the Red Sox. So that leads me into my what to watch segment. I don't know if you guys saw, I was promoting this on my Instagram. It's called Crip Camp on Netflix. It won a Sundance Award, and it is a documentary about these kids with physical and mental disabilities back in like the 70s. They went to this camp that was for kids with physical and mental disabilities, and what the camp, it is such a good story, and it's such an important history lesson for everyone that if you don't know about the 504 sit-in, if you don't know about the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, that's what ADA compliant stands for. If you don't know about this, 1 in 5 Americans, I believe it's 1 in 5 Americans has a disability, and it's like a higher percentage of someone that knows someone that has a disability. And this documentary, in an entertaining way and in a compelling and compassionate way, really breathed light into the experience, because it was created and filmed by one of the people who went to this camp, and he explained why he used the word crip, which sometimes has a negative, which definitely has a negative connotation and was used in a negative light years ago, and probably derogatory still to the today, but it's like a reclaiming of the word. And you know, you think about like the dips and sidewalks, and like that wasn't there, that wasn't a part of our culture, and the fact that people had to fight for this. Like, I think when you're watching this documentary and you see all of these people that impromptu did a sit-in so that they could get the rights, the equal rights that they deserved in this country, for people with disabilities popping up into an impromptu sit-in, like disrupting their routines, disrupting their behaviors of what they need on a day-to-day, like being able to like have aids that help them. Like I can't even begin to explain to you what a great look into history in America this documentary was, and the kind of community that Camp Jened, which is what the camp it started with in this film, and other camps like that. My cousin Michael and his whole family, Julie and Grace, Uncle Larry, they all went to a camp called Camp Shatterbox. Michael was on my show back in November, so I'm sure you guys saw. He uses a communication device, and that camp was helping the people. I say kids because they're all younger than me. He's 24 next week. And then also Eddie, who's going to be on later in the show, was a counselor and a director at a Camp Anchor out in Long Island. I think it's just super important. This is a big part of our American history, and it's also a part of our everyday experience. And this is a story that like needs to be seen. And I don't know why it didn't get like more press or more pickup or whatever, but like grassroots, let's like spread it, because it's really, really good and very, very, very important. That brings me into my food for thought segment, which is kind of like just a statement. I have become a puzzle person. What you can't see right over here, I have a 1,000-piece puzzle going on my coffee table. So the last time I did a puzzle was like, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago when my family went on a big family vacation. You know, I at least got the basics. Like, so I'm just gonna like do a little intro to puzzling 101. Because I'm not good at this. So, but apparently you have to do the border first. I learned that. That's fantastic. Got that. I separated all the pieces to find the border pieces, but I couldn't find them all. And I don't know if it's just because I wasn't paying close enough attention, but now there's like one border piece missing that's like killing me. But also my coffee table is definitely not big enough for this. This is so not the right thing to do. I have like little stacks of puzzles, pieces that I know are not the right color for what I'm looking for. And I'm like combing through, but I'm also like making headway. There's thousands and thousands of hot air balloons, and it's very complex and very like densely colored. So I am working on this. I am a puzzle person now. But the one thing I noticed is like, I'm like hovering over my coffee table so much. My butt muscles are sore. My gluteus maximusly hurts. So yeah, so I'm a puzzle person now. I've actually enjoyed it. It's definitely a good way for your brain to just like wander. So that is my food for thought, which always means the interview portion is coming up.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Yay. So Eddie Hearne, at EJ705 if you want to follow.
Sure.
Eddie is a special education teacher in kindergarten and a group leader at Anchor Camp, which is in Nassau County in Long Island. So can you explain to everyone what Anchor Camp is and how you got started working with them?
Sure. So Camp Anchor stands for Answering the Needs of Citizens with Handicaps Through Organized Recreation. And it's pretty well known at this point on Long Island. Basically, it was super, super big in Floral Park when I was in high school. I kind of just heard about it through word of mouth. And then I applied as a volunteer. And I went that summer in 2005. And I pretty much just fell in love like right away. Anyone who works there will tell you it's just like magic, which is kind of funny, like going back to the Crip Camp documentary. I was so moved by the whole thing. It definitely drew parallels for me for Anchor. Basically, it services individuals with disabilities from ages 5 and up. And I work currently in the junior camp. So my campers are like 5 to 7 years old, 5 to 8 years old in range, different disabilities, autism, cerebral palsy. And like the staff is just people that I've never met before, and they've become my best friends. And it's just a really awesome place that kind of put me on the trajectory into the career I'm in now, which is teaching. So it's definitely my favorite place.
Yeah. And how old were you when you first started working with Anchor Camp?
So I started volunteering in, junior high. I was 13, and then I worked my way up to staff. So for 3 years, so I was 13, and then I volunteered for 3 years. And then at 17, I applied for a job, and I became what's called a group aide. And then I worked as a group aide for a few years. And then at 21, I became a group leader. Mm-hmm. So now I oversee my group of like 16 to 17 participants, the aides, and then the campers themselves and our volunteers.
And so you started working at Anchor Camp through what is your formative years. And then in high school decided that you wanted to continue to be of service and work with children with disabilities. And so that's when you decided to go to college and grad school to become a special education teacher?
Yes. So basically, I kind of, obviously, like I have so many cousins, I babysat, love working with kids. But then I think that Anchor really, for me, like solidified that that's what I wanted to do in my future, and especially the special ed portion. I kind of didn't know all the different avenues you could take in terms of like the special education realm. But obviously teaching is always like, in your view. So I was like, oh, I'll be a teacher. At Anchor, I kind of primarily worked in junior camp. So I almost always knew that I wanted to do early childhood special ed. And then it kind of led me in that trajectory. And then I went to college for it, grad school for it as well. I ended up basically at an early intervention center. So I did EI work with 2 and 3 year olds primarily with Down syndrome and autism. And we worked on a lot of life skills, which I loved. If I could go back to EI, I would in a heartbeat.
I love what you said when we were talking earlier about EI, in that it's the beginning of the child's life when the parents are still kind of getting up to speed. Can you explain a little bit more about that? Because I think that that's something that maybe we don't all think about.
Sure. Like I was saying to you before, is that I love the early childhood portion of teaching. To me, it's like where you see so much progress and you see so many gains in life skills, academic, social skills. But I think one of the trickiest parts is that a lot of times that's when parents or guardians are first coming into like the special education realm of education. And it's definitely hard to navigate. Obviously, I myself am not a parent, but I've had parents tell me how difficult it can be to find the right placement. In the past, there weren't so many options, but I think now as a society, we definitely have more opportunities and options open. You have to be able to also help the parents and guardians and siblings. I know you talked about in your intro how like that camp is amazing that they involve the whole family, because it's not just the child or the adult or the individual. It's like everyone in that person's circle. So like,
that's
you need
Camp
to
Chatterbox. So
exactly
check it out, Camp Chatterbox.
That's phenomenal. And I love what you said before too, is that the participants there, like they become the counselor. That to me, like we were saying, like self-advocacy, and like that's amazing that they start out as a camper and then they work their way up into a camp counselor role. Like that's phenomenal.
So in working with people with disabilities, and especially teaching and being in the camp setting, like what is something that you kind of have seen or observed or learned that really just like opened your eyes?
Honestly, this is the most important thing that I think anyone could know, is that everyone is a person first. So in Crip Camp, they kind of talk about this a lot too, a great deal, is putting the person first. So you and I also discussed this before, is that we sometimes, because of society, like to put labels on everyone, like myself, you included. And I think that we forget that deep down, what ties us all together is that we're actually all obviously human beings, regardless of race, gender, ethnicity. So I think people first language is the most important thing that anyone can understand and learn. Like people will sometimes say, oh, this autistic child, where it should be like a child with autism. They have their own identity, their own personality before the disability. And I think that that's the most important thing that society has to recognize in order for us to continue to grow and just be so embracing of everyone.
I think that that's so important, that people first language, and it is such a broad term, disability, and what that falls under. And you know, there's varying levels of people who are comfortable with the phrasing, or they prefer a different terminology. And I think that that's on people who do not have a disability to step up and rise to the occasion in allyship and be able to hear someone and understand. And I think they said it really well in the documentary about like believing someone's story. I feel like that is universal when it comes to even a lot of the stuff going on in the world about Me Too and women. Like you just need to believe someone and make them feel like they are heard and seen. I think
their
a lot
voice
of
is
people
heard.
just want to be heard. And speaking of being heard, Hearne, Mr. Hearne, you are a teacher here in New York City. The classroom atmosphere right now is different.
Yeah.
You are virtual. So how are you managing that now?
Basically, I have a 12-1-1 class in District 75. So my students primarily have autism. I also have 2 students with Down syndrome. I had 2 paraprofessionals. I was getting a 3rd paraprofessional. Paraprofessionals in the city are teachers' assistants. So basically, our curriculum worked in my building. We taught academics, and then we kind of infused what we call life skills. Every day we ran a schedule. We had a phonics period, a period for math, a period for science and social studies. And a lot of it in the classroom is obviously hands-on. So basically what I would do is we adapt and manipulate different materials so that they're Velcro. Everything is interactive. We don't do a lot of like, skill and drill worksheets. We do a lot of hands-on centers. So I'll have them rotate like to the computer center, to the independent IEP center. They'll come work with me in a small group, with my para in a small group. I'll do a whole group read aloud. And we adapt the text that we read with them. And we do like a lot of visuals and a lot of like hand over hand and like gestural prompting, we call it, and cueing. Okay. In transitioning to the virtual learning, it's super, super difficult. Obviously, we can still like incorporate visual prompts, but we're not doing physical or gestural cues or prompts, across the screen. Yeah. Kind of relying a lot on the parents and guardians. What I think people fail to realize is that they're also working and they have siblings, and there's other kids and other factors in the household. So, when they come to school, those issues kind of stay at home, obviously, and then they're with us. But now that it's, constant, that they're still at home, it's definitely such a huge barrier to overcome. Fortunately now, for everyone that's a teacher and parents out there, there's so many free resources. Once this happened, a lot of these websites opened up and had free accounts. There's a plethora of them out there. We gave them to our parents. We gave them our logins for things just so they could access it at home. We basically send out on what's called Google Classroom. We use Google Classroom as our format. We send out, activities for the kids to do, and then they kind of can shoot it back with their response. The therapists I know are also doing like video conferencing, so we can do videos online and like send them messages that way. But it's definitely a challenge for sure.
I definitely want to say thank you to all of the teachers. Last episode, I talked about all the medical professionals, but I want to do a huge shout out to you, to Lynn, to Charmaine, to Gabby. I know there's a lot of teachers here watching, and I know you've got a lot of friends watching too. And I think that just know, like, we all appreciate you. I don't even have children, but I really appreciate you. I think a lot of things in our society are kind of coming to a head because of COVID, and things are becoming a little bit more obvious that there are cracks in the system and it's not all working. And it's really heartbreaking when like the choice to keep a school open is because you want to make sure the kids are fed and it's not because of just making sure they get their education. I am very hopeful that we will be able to reframe the way that we look at our education system and look at teachers and compensate teachers. I feel like there's a lot of people that kind of say like, oh, teachers are the best, like they're the real, you know, backbone of our culture, and like they raise the next generation, but like we should be putting our money where our mouth is. And I truly believe that. And I'm really, really hopeful. And I hope that everyone watching, we were talking about this, if you see a teacher on social media, if you see someone you're friends with that is asking for some kind of fundraising to help with their classroom, like we were saying before, believe them that they need the help. It is very different than when we were in school a couple of years ago. And expectations are much, much, much higher that are placed upon teachers and educators and paras and principals and guidance counselors. I mean, it's everyone. And the expectation is higher and the output is higher. And as we become a culture that has just been so driven by productivity, that is being placed on the children. I know we talked about this. So I just want everyone take a moment, remember to thank the teachers. And I think all the people who are working from home with kids right now are like, oh my God, teachers.
They're heroes, those people, they are.
We're going to play a really quick game, Would You Rather? And your question is, would you rather have a secret lover or a secret admirer?
I would say a secret admirer, so that you can still find this so-called lover, but then someone else can still admire you from afar.
You're like, I want it all.
You get the best of both worlds.
You get the best. Oh my God, I can't with myself. Okay, this one was funny. Would you rather be forced to shower with in stilettos or wearing a life vest?
A life vest, because my other nickname is Booze Cruise Eddie, and I am all about a boat party scene, so I will throw on that life vest.
Just keeps you above water.
Yep.
Keeps you afloat. I love it. Okay, and the last one, because this one made me laugh. Would you rather attend a private concert with Ed Sheeran or Charlie Puth?
I feel like I'm going to get a lot of flack for this in the comments, but I'm not a fan of either of those artists. Sorry, guys.
Oh my God,
Sorry.
No, Charlie Puth, Jersey for Jersey.
I mean...
Well, I want to say thank you, Eddie. I appreciate you joining this live with me, doing it virtually. You'll have to come to the apartment and do it in person at some point.
Thank you, Ellyn. And I forgot, it's so funny. I just realized that it's also Autism Awareness Month. So this is perfect timing. Perfect timing. Yes, you guys can, well, we used to say light it up blue, but now they've changed it to kind of all the colors. I also want to say thank you to Ellyn, my fantastic host over there. And guys, if anyone in these comments wants to be a guest, I highly recommend and suggest it. She makes you feel so at ease, and she's amazing.
Oh, Eddie, you're so sweet. Thank you. Oh my God, love you. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Oh, Eddie, you're so sweet. Oh my God, shout out to everyone in the comments cheering Eddie on. Speaking of Charlie Puth, he has a little scar in his eyebrow from when he was attacked by a dog as a child. And that is a perfect segue into my long forgotten Noah Centineo news segment. So Noah Centineo also suffered a dog bite wound. That's why he has a little scar here. I'm not doing the Noah Centineo news segment. I'm just like giving an update. Noah has been posting pictures that he used to have on his Instagram account. He like deleted them all and was like being super moody. And now he is back on Instagram posting all of his cute, like thirst trappy photos from before. I think it has something to do with his unconfirmed breakup with Alexis Ren. I'm so glad that we're all past this now. I feel like we can all move forward. He can go back to normal. And so yeah, that's the update. He's just posting normal pictures. Oh my God, Dad, enough. The not Noah again. That's literally like, get off the soapbox. It's cute. It's fun. It's a fun thing. It's like with Jimmy Kimmel and, you know, what's his name? I can't remember. I can't remember his name. Leave it alone. Thank you, Matt Damon, Charmaine. Thank you. Lord Jesus. There's too much to remember. So thank you everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. It is such a bright spot and sunshine in world experience right now that I get to do this show. I hope that this show makes you laugh. I hope that this show makes you smile. If you catch yourself smiling while you're watching this show, if you like just feel a smile on your face, that is the whole point. And if you feel that, if this gave that to you, please go give that feeling to someone else, whether it's sharing this show or just doing something nice for someone or making someone laugh. I just, in my life, know I love making people laugh and making people feel good. I know that that's what I'm here to do in whatever capacity I exist on this planet in. And so I appreciate that you tune in and that I can reach all of you who are watching this and hopefully make you laugh and make you smile. I miss everyone that I haven't seen in a long time. If you want to FaceTime, text me, DM me, reach out to me. I am more than happy to hop on a FaceTime or a chat or a call or whatever. I think it's important to do it. And I love you all and thank you. And I will see you next week. Bye. Hi everyone, thanks for watching. To subscribe to my channel, click here. And to watch more videos, click here. Be sure to like, comment, and hit the bell so you get notified every time I upload a video.